Alright. Let me know when I can rock and roll.
You're ready anytime.
Alright. So I'm gonna be talking to you guys about something I'm sure all you guys have your own opinion on. I'm sure all you guys feel very strongly in this, and I'm gonna have some haters in here. I admit that, I'm going to. So, what am I talking about today? Gun control. I personally think, it doesn't matter what I think, I'm gonna give you a speech about it. Alright, so, my major claim today is gun control reduces the amount of deaths by firearm in the United States. Alright? And let's just be very clear here. There's been a lot of things going on lately. I think we could all agree, right? There's a lot of things going on lately that's been bad. We don't need this in our country. It's a bad face. It's a bad thing to have. It's a bad rep to have, especially when it's coming from people that are United States citizens themselves. Now, I'm gonna be talking to you guys about how gun control laws would reduce gun deaths, and also certain accessories like typical sale of high-capacity magazines can result in a higher death toll. Also, another thing I'll be talking to you about is the use of a firearm as protection is, let's be honest, much more rare than the use of a firearm in putting people in harm's way. Extensive background checks will make it harder for individuals to purchase a firearm. Also, I'm gonna be telling you how gun control has proven to work in decreasing violence. So, gun control. The U.S. is the leading nation, in the entire world with gun-related deaths. Now, in the U.S. alone, 2/3 of the 7,900 deaths in 1981 involving arguments and brawls were caused by guns themselves. Now, just being honest here, gun control, it's something that it's just something we don't want to do. It's something we want to avoid, but it needs to happen. And the thing we're talking about, or I'm talking about, is people want to argue the fact that guns are used for protection. Guns are a defense mechanism more so. But in record showing, that's not the case. Now, according to gun control, guncontrolprocon.org, which is a government-funded website, people like Condoleezza Rice, the Democratic individuals that stand against or stand for gun control, support this website. And basically, of the 29,618,300 violent crimes committed between 2007 and 2011, 0.79% of the victims, which were 235,700, protected themselves with the threat of or use of a firearm. Now, in 2010, there were 230 justifiable homicides in which private citizens used to kill a felon. So example, let's say someone broke in your house and you shot them dead with a gun. That's an example of a justifiable homicide. Now, that's compared to 8,275 criminal gun homicides. Now, yeah, we have guns. I'm sure some people in here own guns. Is that fair to say some people in here own guns? And I'm sure some of you guys own, I'll just pretty like say like a pistol, something like standard. But I'm also sure that some of you guys own assault rifles. Now, people's main argument is guns are used for protection. Guns are used. Yeah, it's called an assault rifle. Look at the definition of what assault is. What are the protection rifles? No, they're assault rifles. There's no reason to be having such high power caliber weapons. What are you gonna be doing? Okay, yeah, again, you could be shooting targets and stuff like that, and I give you that because from my personal experience, I'm in the military myself. I understand that I gotta bite the bullet sometimes, and sometimes other people ruin the fun for everybody else. Which is gonna lead me on to my next sub point, which is regulation on accessories for weapons, such as high-capacity magazines, suppressors, things like that. I know in California we didn't have a pretty strict gun law policy as is, but like states like Nevada, you can own pretty much anything. You can own an automatic weapon, you can own suppressors, high-capacity magazines. For example, the Sandy Hook shooting, I'm sure you guys are all aware of that. Well, kid went into school, shot down a bunch of other kids. High-capacity magazine. The thing that sucks about like things like this is just that, for example, like I said, people ruin the fun for other individuals, and I'm sure people really do find these, and I'm sure people really do see that, like this is a recreational thing. People really use weapons or like, guns, certain things for fun. And when a high capacity magazine is involved in like a mass shooting, for example, that's at least 50% of mass shootings involve high capacity magazines, and the death rate could actually raise it to 63%, and their injury rate could actually raise it to 156% as well. Now let me just hurry along. And for example, a country like Australia, they have similar issues where Australia had 13 mass shootings in an 18-year period from 1979 to 1996. They passed very strict gun laws, and these gun laws ban citizens from owning assault rifles, high caliber weapons, and after that, the 19 years that followed, not one mass shooting has occurred. And yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Chatty Patty. I've been called worse in high school.
Yeah.
That was when I was called.
You got outlines? All right, David, the propositions identified, although the phrasing on it is a little bit problematic because you never exactly say what you mean by gun control. If you were going to make an argument that says banning high capacity magazines or banning assault weapons per se would reduce the death toll in the United States, that would be a much clearer statement. As it is, it's a little bit ambiguous. The contents of the speech, you start kind of previewing those points and start listing a whole bunch of things that you're going to get through, but it wasn't quite clear to me. It sounded to me like you had maybe 5 supporting points, but there's not really a pattern that you're developing on any of those, and I think that that's problematic. You need to have a lot more control over the content at the beginning of the speech, because during the speech you sort of wander around a little bit, and you were asking me, how important is it to be, follow a pattern. I think it's more important than I maybe suggested to you, because I didn't mind if you reordered the order of evidence, but the claims need to be very clear and distinct, and sometimes it just felt like you wandered from one subject to another instead of focusing on the point that is in front of you, and you need to do that a little bit more. Like I said, I feel it's a little bit all over the place, so you need a clearer structure to the speech. Evidence, I thought you had some good examples. They aren't always cited. You had some good statistical information. We need to have a little bit more context on some of that. You did have some citations on some of the information that you're presenting, which I thought was good, but it's a little inconsistent, and so there are a lot of places where I heard information being presented without being given a source on that, and I think that that's problematic. For example, the claim that you can have pretty much anything you want in Nevada, including automatic weapons. I'm going, okay, and where did you hear this? Where does this information come from? I'm not sure. You've got another statistic at the end where you're saying 50% of all mass shootings involve high-capacity magazines, and I'm going, okay, well, there should be a source citation for that. And I think that you're going to get more credibility if you provide those sources than if you simply skip over them. It feels like a first-time run-through on the presentation. I think this is an argument that would work a little bit more effectively if it was kind of polished a little bit more, and we made some editing choices on what the claims were and how they would build together a bit more. You know, it's not that what you have is bad, but it's not making the point as effectively as you want to make the point, and I think that that's a problem. All right, thank you.